Jina langu ni Yusuf Mahmud Abubakar. Ni wakili wa mahakama kuu ya Kenya na vile vile ni executive director wa Haki Africa.
Karibu sana.
Asante.
Yes. As a director of Haki Africa, you've been at the forefront of human rights advocacy, led human aid accountability work in Kenya. How has your legal and human rights background shaped your approach to public engagement and civic leadership?
Yeah, because one of the fundamental training as a lawyer is the protection of the rights of the individuals and communities. So that was a background for my human rights activism. And because I was trained as a lawyer, I was blessed because I knew what is right and what is wrong, particularly on constitutional law. So that shaped my background. And again, the training as a lawyer, you are a protector of a client, client's rights. So you take the community as your client. In human rights perspective, the community is your client. So whenever your community's rights are violated, so you take action to ensure that corrective measures are taken and no further violations occur. So that is a background that shaped my enthusiasm for human rights work.
Right.
And Bwana Wakili just mentioned that your main role is to protect the community and protect individuals. And let me just take you back a little bit to 2024. There was this Gen Z uprising and the protest and all that. You understand there were a lot of injuries. Young people were injured. Some were actually killed. Some were shot dead. So since that time, there have been a lot of conversations going on. There have been a lot of talks about the compensation. So from where you see it, do you think that these people who are injured, or maybe their families that lost their young people, their sons, their daughters, or their children, were they compensated, or maybe is there anything that the government is doing to ensure that these people get the rights that they deserve?
No, where we have reached is that immediately after the protests and what happened to the protesters, there are young people who were killed, there are young people who were injured, there are young people who were abducted and disappeared. And thanks to the human rights organizations, there was a lot of pressure for the government.
Yes.
So the government has caved in and has shown willingness to compensate. The only problem is the legal procedure to be followed for compensating. There was an ad hoc committee that was appointed by the president, but the appointment of that committee was not anchored in law. So it was an illegal committee. We pointed out that fact. Others went to court, and the court agreed with the human rights organizations. So what the president has done, he has acknowledged that the Kenya National Human Rights Commission has the mandate to spearhead the process of compensation. The committee that was appointed by the president has now been turned to an advisory committee to advise the president on how to engage the Kenya National Human Rights Commission for compensation. So we are still in that process, and none has been compensated, but we still put on pressure to ensure that at the end of the day, the victims of the violence that was meted against the protesters are compensated. There are people who think that process will have a political angle in it because we are approaching election. So maybe the president may want to use that as a campaign tool. Whatever it is, our objective is to ensure they are compensated one way or another. Yeah.
All right.
That's right. And you know, in matters that involve public attention like that, there's a lot of challenges that you face as an individual, or maybe as a organization that fight for the rights of the individuals, or maybe communities, such as the Gen Zs, you know, when you're fighting for the compensation such as that. So what is that one thing that motivates you on such cases, and especially the fact that they attract public attention and know that this is something that is in the public eye?
First is, we are believers. We believe in God.
Yes.
And one of the aspects of belief is that you do justice to all. So it is that quest based on our belief as religious people that we do justice to those whose rights were violated. Number two, we have an agreement as Kenyans. The Constitution is an agreement on how to govern ourselves, and the Constitution is very clear. So when rights of individuals, rights of communities, rights of groups are violated, they should be compensated. So another motivation is that is the legal requirement. When there are violations, there must be compensation for the victims. So this is what motivates us to ensure we keep on fighting for justice.
All right. In your role at Haki Africa has been actively involved in legal aid, police oversight, and justice reforms. Do you have any example of where legal advocacy led to a tangible change for ordinary citizens?
Yeah, we were able to cause the government to come up with the National Action Plan on combating violent extremism, the policy. As Haki Africa, we contributed a lot when we were fighting violations against the suspects of violent extremism. Number two, we were involved directly in drawing and coming up with the county action plans, several of them, including Mombasa, and many other counties. So we were able to form policy on how to counter violent extremism. Number two, as I have just indicated, we've been able to force with other organizations, joint action, to force the government to agree to compensate the victims of the violations that occurred during the 2024 protests. Number three, we have inculcated into government what we call the human rights approach when it comes to the security sector. There is now some training at Kiganjo on human rights to police officers, and that all because of our pressure to the government that we need to train the police. As Haki Africa, we have also trained police officers on the human rights approach on combating crime. We have also managed to form. We have the National Climate Change Act. We also have County Climate Change Acts, but the implementation has not been very good by the government. So what we have done through our projects is that the structures, because they have not formed the structures, we have been able to influence the county governments to come up with structures, like the ward committees, and not just structures, but also to to start implementing climate change projects in several counties, including Lamu, Mombasa, Taita Taveta, and Kwale, and many other counties, Siaya, the northeastern counties of Mandera, Wajir, Garissa. So we've done quite a lot.
I thank you so much, Bwana Wakili. And now let's cross over to politics a little bit, because you know we have to talk about politics. And you will agree with me that since the demise of Baba, that is the Right Honorable Raila Odinga, there's been a lot of shaking in the house of ODM, and that is very true. And you know there've been talks that the ODM, the Orange Democratic Movement, should stand on its own, especially ahead of the 2027 general elections. And there's some group of people that feel like for ODM to remain strong, they have to form a coalition with the ruling party, that is the UDA. And as of yesterday, the Orange Central Committee actually resolved to start a pre-election talks with political parties such as UDA to form a coalition ahead of the 2027 general election. And as you understand that, one of the important people in the ODM party, that is the Secretary General, boycotted the meeting. He wasn't actually in the meeting that is supposed to start very soon. And so, according to you, or maybe from a lawyer's perspective, is there any constitutional or legal standpoint that that is barring ODM from forming a political party or a coalition with any other political party or with UDA?
Thank you. But before I respond to your answer, I think we need to understand ODM. Yeah. Before the demise of the Right Honorable Raila Odinga, we had the politics of patronage within ODM. Politics of patronage is that Baba was the decision maker. Yes. He could just move ODM to enter into a broad-based government with His Excellency President Ruto without consulting. And if you recall, there was no what you call executive committee meeting to discuss that issue, or a convention by the ODM, a conference by the ODM to discuss broad-based government. It was just a decision of the late Raila Odinga. So previously, ODM was managed, administered, and run by patronage. Now that the patron has gone, there's a transition to democracy, where people have to discuss. And you know, in a democracy, there are divergent opinion. So what we are experiencing is that there are divergent opinion within ODM. Yes. There are those who want to maintain the broad-based arrangement with the government. There are those who think they should not do so. There are those who want to extend that cooperation to beyond 2027. Yes. There are those who want to detach from the broad-based. So that is democracy in play. So within ODM, the problem is the maturity with which these divergent views are discussed. My disappointment is that they lack maturity. Democracy demands that you persuade, you convince, you don't force. So there are forceful arguments from different groups. And that is not a democracy. Democracy is that you sit down with a person with a different view, try to persuade that person to see that your view is a correct a position at that particular time. That is not happening. Coming back to your answer, the Political Parties Act has provision as to forming coalitions. There are two types of coalitions. There are coalitions, there are pre-election coalitions, like the broad-based. There's a debate as to whether that is a coalition or not. But there are pre-election coalitions where two parties come, agree, and enter into an agreement, a pre-election coalition agreement. And that agreement is registered with the registrar of political parties. There is also a post-election coalition. So the law allows for formation of coalitions by political parties. Yeah.
All right. Let me take you back a little bit, maybe for our listener who is listening to us this morning and it's not understanding the whole aspect and the point of political parties. Maybe we can take them back a little bit and explain to them why these parties are important and why they were formed in the first place.
Yeah, the importance of political parties are supposed to be formed on ideology. I'll give you an example. There is the Social Democrats. Social Democrats. So every decision of a political party that espouses social democracy has to be based on the principles of social democracy. And social democracy looks at communal rights, not individual rights. Most of the time they look at groups, for instance, rights of the workers, rights of the youth, and social democracy is based on socio-economic rights. There are parties who talk about liberal democracy, for instance. Liberal democracy is that it's freedom. It emphasizes on freedom. This is where even things like same-sex marriages, if people agree, so most of these things happen in a liberal democracy. Liberal democracy exposes freedom of the individual, most of the time of the individual. If two men agree, for instance, to marry, and the rest of Kenyans have no problem with that, then that could be allowed. There is conservative democracy. This is the opposite of liberal democracy. And there are many other ideologies. There are parties that are formed purely on climate. For instance, the Green Party, the ideology, every decision they make, they look at what benefit will the climate have in this decision. So there are many. So a political party is based on ideology. For instance, there are parties who, even the kind of governance, the governance system, there are parties who want a federal arrangement. There are parties who want a unilateral arrangement. So parties, before you decide to support a party, you have to understand its ideology. You have to understand its decisions will be based on that ideology. Unfortunately, that is not the case in Kenya. If you look at the name of a political party, it's supposed to give you an idea of its ideology. The Orange Development Movement, Orange Democratic Movement. It gives you an idea. If you look at the constitution, it will give you an idea of its ideology. When we have the UDA, United Democratic Party, and it is important to know united. And if you look at the approach of the president, his approach is to unite all parties around, so you have at least one or two political parties. So this should give you an idea of the approach UDA takes. And you should understand when the president says, ODM come, we form a coalition. Wiper come, we form a coalition. Because it's ideology, that is based on its ideology. The president does not believe in the existence of many political parties. He believes on at least two, the party that forms government and the party that is in the opposition, to check So if you are impressed by that arrangement, then you could agree and join and also vote for that particular party. So that is important of political parties in a democracy, and this is why we fought for multi-party democracy. We are now a constitutional multi-party democracy in Kenya, so that we can have as many parties with many ideologies. You know, in Europe, for instance, right now, and these ideologies are based on the context. In Europe, there's a challenge of immigration. Many people migrate to Europe to see green pastures, and that has caused problems in Europe. So the far rights political parties that are opposed to, absorbing people from other countries are now gaining popularity. The citizens of those countries are now, tired of accepting people from other countries as refugees, and then you give them citizenship, and this has caused problems to them. So you can see parties that were not very popular in the past, they are now popular because of the context has changed. And this could be, and that is what is required even in Kenya. You look at the context. A party that was popular, like KANU, in the past, may not be popular now because the context has changed. But my hope is that Kenyans will start questioning ideologies of these political parties. Yeah.
So just to understand, before she asked a question, does those political ideologies matter when forming an alliance?
Of course they do. You can't form an alliance. For instance, a conservative party cannot form an alliance with a liberal party.
Right.
It can't, unless you want to betray your ideology.
Right.
Yeah.
That each and every party, we all knew that ODM used to be the long-serving opposition party, right? And that means it had its own ideology, or worked as an oversight to the government. So now that there are allegations that there's a coalition that is about to be formed between ODM and UDA ahead of the 2027 elections, do you think this might contradict the party laws or principles of the ODM if they decide to form a coalition with the UDA or maybe any other political party?
I think people need to know let me say, political intentions of ODM.
Yes.
Number one, every political party wants to govern. They want to win an election and govern the people. And when you govern the people, you give them your manifesto based on your ideologies. So in a true democracy, that is what is supposed to happen. People look at your ideology, they look at your manifesto, they compare with the ideology and the manifesto of another political party, and they decide what is best for them, and they elect you. Unfortunately, that is not the position in Kenya. There are other considerations like ethnicity, sometimes religion, regional interests. So even the coalition is not based on ideology. The coalition is based on ethnicity and regional interest, and it comes, people look at the votes from these areas. So that is where we are facing challenges. And the motivation for ODM to seek a coalition with UDA is not based on ideology. It is based on the fact that they want to be in the next government. They have said it, that we want to be in the next government, either as a coalition or as an entity on its own. So this is where the challenge is. And Kenyans need to make a decision. So they want to continue with ethnic regional politics, or they want to look at the substance of ideological politics. We are very far behind, embracing ideology in politics. But we are hoping with, let's say, with the the civic education that civil societies are doing, the increased information that is out there through digital platforms, I think Kenyans will start to change and dump ethnic regional politics and embrace ideological based politics. And if you do that, then you will want to question what is it that drives ODM to form a coalition with UDA. But my understanding of what was discussed yesterday by the ODM members, it is not just UDA. They have resolved to seek dialogue with, they will start with UDA, but if that does not materialize, then they can go to any other political party or coalition of political parties. So what we need to question as Kenyans is, what is the motivation behind it, apart from forming the next government? Look at the differences between UDA and ODM. One of the challenges ODM is facing is that there was a contrast as to UDA and ODM. And this is why there are people who supported ODM because they thought ODM was exposing their very inner requirements. But now forming a coalition with the UDA, they have lost most of those people who had such beliefs. And this is the challenge they are facing. But we need to understand that ODM is not motivated by ideology in seeking these coalitions. Their primary consideration is forming the next government, either through a coalition or on their own. And I think it will be difficult on their own, and this is why they are seeking for coalitions.
And on just that matter, you see that they have made it clear this time that they want to be in the next government. And remember, before Baba's demise, when they formed the broad-based government, he made it clear that they're not in the government, though they have a partnership. So from your legal understanding, maybe if you could define what political partnership or political coalition means, and maybe make a difference between what Baba used to say, that they're not in the government, though they were in the broad-based government.
There is what is called express coalition. Express. Express is where you have entered into an agreement, written agreement. And that agreement explains itself as a coalition agreement. But they also what we call implied coalitions. You don't have to enter into an agreement, but your actions indicate or show that you're in a coalition. Now, take for instance, His Excellency Ruto had many people from which to appoint in his cabinet. Why would he take, members of parliament from ODM and put them in his cabinet? That is one of the implications of a coalition, because these people have the ideology of ODM, but now they have entered into government, exposing a different ideology of UDA. That is one aspect of implied coalition formation. Number two, the relationship between the late Raila Odinga and Ruto, how they relate, the privileges that were extended to Raila Odinga, they were privileges of a person who is in government. The privileges that are extended to members of parliament from ODM, their privileges to those who are in the party forming a political in the government. So these are indicators showing that they are in a coalition. And the third and most prominent is the fact that ODM members have been supporting positions taken by the UDA in parliament. And a good example is the impeachment of the deputy president, Gachagua. ODM voted with the UDA, and that is an act expressing coalition arrangement. So in law, there are implications, there are implied coalition. One can be excused to say that the ODM is already in a coalition with UDA. So what they need to do is they have to formalize the agreement, the coalition. But in terms of actions, the actions express an arrangement of a coalition between these two parties. Yeah.
So legally, is it right or is it okay for people or the political parties to consult their supporters before they join any alliance?
No, that is a requirement. You know, the Political Parties Act has a process of ensuring there is what we call internal democracy within political party. You need to have members first. This is why you need to have a list of members with the register of political parties. Each political party is supposed to have a list of its members with the register of political parties. Number two, you need to have structures from the grassroots. This is where you have ward committees, or you have sub-county committees, or you have county committees. And these structures need to be consulted before any decision of a political party is made. This is why you have the general, what we call is the general meeting of these structures, where decisions are made for the political parties. So that structure needs to be followed. So if a decision, for instance, the decision to form a broad-based government, if you are to take it to court based on the patronage democracy that existed in ODM, and if the judiciary is faithful to the law, then the court will declare that arrangement as illegal because it did not follow the procedure as explained in the Political Parties Act and as it exists in the ODM constitution.
All right, thank you so much. And let me just backtrack you a little bit to before the 2022 general elections. You understand that the last time that ODM joined the government was when the ODM joined the former President Uhuru Kenyatta's political party, that is Jubilee, to secure a presidential seat, and that didn't happen. They weren't able to secure the presidential seat. So, and the years later, actually, there've been a lot of allegations on who betrayed who and who made this dream impossible. So, maybe as a political analyst, maybe you could mention something about that, or maybe tell us, why do you think Baba failed?
Yeah, first you need to understand after the 2007 debacle, we formed what we call is a government of national unity. that government of national unity was based on a legal framework.
Yeah.
So that was not a coalition, but there was a legal framework where President Kibaki appointed Raila Odinga as the Prime Minister. After that, we came to the handshake between Raila Odinga and Uhuru Kenyatta.
Mm-hmm.
The reasons behind this is that Raila Odinga believed he had won the election. He even went to Uhuru Park and saw himself as the people's president. Mm-hmm. And it was very difficult for Uhuru Kenyatta to govern. So he extended his hand to Raila Odinga so that they join and govern together. So there was a handshake. If you ask me, the handshake was not based on any legal arrangement. It was a coalition formation by implication of the law. And after that, we have the broad-based government. There is a belief in political parties that it is very difficult. It's very difficult to defeat a governing party because it has the resources and structures to manipulate elections. This is why they believe that Raila Odinga has never won an election because incumbents have used their offices to manipulate elections. They have manipulated the IEBC, they have used the police, they have used excessive resources to bribe people. So it is very difficult to defeat an incumbent government. So this is one of the motivation that ODM relies on, that if we approach the 2027 election jointly with UDA, then we will enjoy the same benefits. But in 2022, that did not help them, because that was the thinking in 2022, believing that if they join Uhuru Kenyatta, they're going to win the election. Yes. Unfortunately, they did not. They were Ruto outsmarted them. So that belief is still there, that Ruto is an astute campaigner. He's already in government. He enjoys these advantages. We can't defeat him, so let's join him so that we form the government together. Yeah. So that is the thinking that many of the members in ODM believe in, and that is what makes them, agitate for a coalition, a pre-election coalition with UDA. Yeah.
When they joined the former president Uhuru Kenyatta's party to secure a presidential seat, and now that thing again is happening before 2027.
Or the possibility that they may still join Ruto and lose. Yeah. Just like the way they lost in 22. Yeah, that is a possibility. That is a possibility. Yeah. But their thinking is that the situation or the context in 2022 is different from 2027. Ruto was in government at a particular time. And people believe the person running the government at that particular time or enjoying a support from government operatives was the deputy president, not the president. So there was a betrayal within the system, that the system, instead of supporting Uhuru Kenyatta, it supported Ruto. But they believe now the situation has changed. There is no one within government The only person who could have done so is Gachagua, and this is why he was kicked out early enough. So they believe in 2027 things will be different. Yes.
All right, that is amazing. Juzi, last week I saw Aisha Jumwa said that if Ali Hassan Joho is not given this party, ODM, they'll have to look for another pathway. Do you think that Ali Hassan Joho is really capable of taking in these shoes of, they're running the big chama ODM?
That is up to ODM to decide. Democratic principles give a chance to every member to aspire to be a leader of the political party. So Ali Hassan Joho has the right within ODM to aspire to be a party leader, but that should be done democratically. What I've explained before, what Aisha Jumwa is saying, is blackmail. That is called political blackmail. And you don't win by political blackmail. It's persuasion, through persuasion. Sit down with the members. Tell them why you believe Hassan Joho could be the leader of ODM. And let them believe you. So that's democracy. But not threats or blackmail. That does not help. So that is free advice I give to Aisha Jumwa and the cost members of parliament, that if they mean well and they want Hassan Joho to be the leader of ODM, please practice mature politics. Convince the rest that Hassan Joho deserves to be the leader, and he'll be the leader through democratic means, but not through threats or blackmail.
Thank you so much. When you start talking about politics, you can talk about politics the whole day, but now due to time, we'll just have to shorten maybe this our interview kidogo because muda unatupatia kisogo. And so Bwana Abubakar, you understand that Raila Odinga wasn't just a political leader. He wasn't just a party leader, but he was a courageous leader. He had the resilience and unyielding personality. And some of these characteristics, people have been saying that the only person who can actually maybe come close to these characteristics is Babu Owino. So do you, maybe as a political analyst, do you think that Babu Owino possesses this maybe political, the zeal or maybe political courage to fit in the Baba's shoes? Or maybe do you think that Oburu Odinga is just good to be the party leader, or Babu Owino should be the one to take over?
No, there are a number of considerations. If you are you're fighting to topple a governing party, most of the time you take radical strategies. And Raila Odinga was very good in coming up with radical strategies to challenge the establishment. So Babu Owino has inherited that radical strategies in fighting the establishment. But you can see also the weakness of Raila Odinga when he was in a coalition government, when he was a prime minister, and we had Orengo as the minister for land. There were many policies. In fact, the problems regarding land were not solved at that particular time, and people had high hopes that now that Raila Odinga was in government and he has his henchman Orengo as the minister for land, they could solve these problems once and for all, but they're not solved. So when you're in government, they are rational strategies, not radical strategies. So I don't think Babu Owino has any political rationality to govern ODM. And in fact, it is a general belief within ODM that there is no one with a combination of factors to take on Ruto. This is why they have already endorsed Ruto as their presidential candidate. So it's a popular belief within ODM that there is no one with both radical, rational strategies or virtues, to challenge for presidency. There are few who believe that there are, but I think many of them have already seen this gap.
Yes.
That it takes time to mold someone to have wholesome attributes to be a presidential candidate. So that is what personally I don't think Babu Wino has these wholesome attributes to be a presidential candidate. But again, that is a decision for ODM to make. Yeah.
And still on that matter, you understand that after the demise of Baba, Oburu Odinga was actually elected to be the party, to take over the party. Do you think that that was done the proper way, or maybe there were some clearer procedures that would have been done to make sure that the Raila Odinga's successor was elected?
Again, the proper procedures were not followed. But a decision was to be made one way or another. When a wrong procedure is used to make a decision and no one challenges it, then it is believed that you've agreed with that decision. So the general perception is that the membership of ODM agreed with that decision, whether it was procedural or not, but they've agreed with that decision to appoint or elect Oburu Odinga as the party leader. But there are reasons why Oburu Odinga. I think the experience, the fact that he was close to Raila Odinga, he's also a family member, and he has that calm demeanor, the fatherly demeanor that please don't squabble, come, we discuss. So he's the only person who is seen to have the support of either divisions within ODM. So I think for now it is working. I don't know whether it will continue working up to 2027. Yeah.
All right. That is amazing. Thank you very much for joining us today. And it is amazing that we have understood the whole aspect of alliances, formation, and ODM and UDA and what's really happening, hapo nje. So, before we let you go, lazima tukuulize, we know that you have chosen to vie for the position of Lamu Senator. Please let us know what inspired your decision and how do you see your background in law and human rights advocacy translating into effective legislative leadership in the people of Lamu.
Thank you. First, my background, I said I'm a defender, a protector of rights. Yeah. That is number one. And I'm seeing Lamu people, as marginalized. In terms of development, they are way, way, way behind. Number two, I'm also a believer of social democracy, rights of many, not just individuals. My focus is on Article 43, socio-economic rights of the Lamu people. Number three, I'm a believer of a governance system, the federal governance system. Unfortunately, we are not fully federal, but we fought and we have devolution. So I'm a firm believer of devolution as a governance system. So I want it to work. So these are the motivations. And I think, I was a member, a delegate who discussed the Constitution. So I understand the Constitution very well. Not just the letter, but even the spirit of the Constitution. And I believe I have the ideas that may spearhead quick development in Lamu. The problem, the challenge we have in the current arrangement of devolution is the cooperation between the senator and the governor and his government. The cooperation between members of parliament and the governor and his government. People think these are two different arrangements. But if there is no cooperation, then there's a problem. You need the members of parliament, you need MCAs, you need the governor, you need the senator to come up with a joint county economic development strategy that we don't have in Lamu. People are talking about, a good example is the challenge of joblessness to the youth. You have youth who have degrees in business. You have youth who are accountants. You have youth who have done procurement. You have youth who have all sorts of qualifications. But these people can't get employment if you don't have industries, industrialization. We are talking at this hour, there is no single proper industry in Lamu. And devolution gives us an opportunity to industrialize in our counties. I think that is a challenge. We need to industrialize Lamu so that our youth can get employment. Otherwise, there is no benefit going to school. If you can't exercise the education, you can't use the education you have back at home or elsewhere in the country. That is number one. And we have resources to do that. We can exploit the blue economy. It is a whole industry. We can come up with factories, we can come up with big companies on the blue economy alone. We have vast land, we have agriculture. That is an industry that can, we have a local way. Like our agriculture is still, what we call, it's pedestrian agriculture. We need to commercialize agriculture. This is where you have industries. Even students, they don't want to study agriculture at school because they don't see the benefit. But agriculture, there's a lot of, there's engineering in agriculture, just like marine engineering. Nowadays, commercial agriculture, you use engines, you use technology. You need people who are trained in these technologies, to boost commercial agriculture. It's about markets. There's a lot of markets. There are many countries that need food, and they are not, blessed with the resources that we have, land that we have. Middle East, they don't have, fertile land like we have in Kenya. China as a population, it can't feed, it needs more. Europe, there's some areas, there's pure snow, they can't grow anything. So we are blessed. We import maize from other countries, and we have, in Lamu, we have an opportunity to supply maize to Kenya. So I think there's a lot we can do in Lamu to boost, the lives of the people in Lamu. And I think I can contribute ideas, I can spearhead actions to ensure that we develop Lamu, and we come up with a good arrangement so that our people can have a good life in Lamu. This is why it motivates me to go for the Senate.
Amazing.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Bwana Yusuf, for gracing us with your presence here at Blue Radio. And from all of us here, we just sort of wish you all the best and tell you to go for your dreams, and hope and wish that your dream for Lamu County come true. And that is all we have to say here.
And I also want to thank you for giving me this opportunity to talk to the audience outside there.
Yes.
And I hope they have benefited from the discussions, so that we learn and how to transform our country. We are blessed. We have a very good country.
That's true.
If we follow the right procedures, we work together, I believe we can be more than Singapore.
Right.
Yes, that is very true. Every dream is valid.
Yeah.
We have just to put in the work and work towards that certain goal. So thank you so much for coming. Thank you so much for making time for us here at Blue Radio. Thank you so much. And karibu sana next time. In case you want to talk to the people of Lamu, the people of Kenya, or a listener out there,
you're welcome.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Asante sana.
You're listening to Blue Radio, bringing the vibe.